Hi guys! As you may remember, at the beginning of the latest episode of the Electronic Corner, I was celebrating the fact that for the first time in the history of this podcast, we were having a female solo project with us. And I was wishing that more ladies would follow the example of Ultra, our guest. And well, my wish has been granted immediately. In fact, even today, we have a female solo project, and for the first time, we're visiting Belgium. So, another reason to celebrate and a great way to finish the first season of the Electronic Corner. In fact, I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks breaks because, well, Christmas time we're all very busy, and also I need to find more artists brave enough to be a guest of this podcast where you have, to show your face, answer my questions, and do a studio demonstration. And well, this seems to be a bit too much for a lot of people, so I'm still struggling a bit to find guests, but don't worry, I will not give up, and you can rest assured there will be at least a second season. Now, no more words. Let's go immediately to meet Alterkix. Hello Sabine, good to see you. Thanks for accepting my invitation. How are things in Belgium today?
The weather is not so good, but the mood is up. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast. It's a pleasure to accept your invitation.
Thanks a lot. So let's start immediately. First thing I want to ask you is about your relationship with music making. What I mean is, do you see yourself more as a musician, so as someone with a solid music theory basis who uses synths to make music? Or do you see yourself more like a sound creator, so somebody who enjoys to play with gears, with synths, without necessarily having the creation of a song as a final goal?
Well, it's a bit a mix of both, because I started out as a musician, but not with synthesizers. I'm actually a bass player, and I play bass in a cover band. And in our setlist we have many types of songs, and when we decided to do Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics, I thought to myself, maybe it's a good idea if I play it on synth bass. So I went to the music store and asked about synthesizer, which synth is good for playing synth bass, and I ended up with a monologue. And I was very scared to use it. I read the manual 3 times, trying to understand what it all means. And then I learned to play that song. And I had real fun doing it. But then I discovered all the sounds in the synthesizer and what it all does, not really understanding what it meant. But I have to say that I have a good background in music theory. When I learned to play bass, I had a very good teacher who taught me all about music theory, so I know what the scales mean and how a song is structured with the chords and why certain chords go with other ones. And so I have that background. But to continue my story, when I bought my first synth, I had so much fun with it that I thought it would be good if I could add drums with it. So I bought a small Volca beats with it, and then I started making little, well, it's not songs, but sounds which go together, but just free form, not thinking about music theory at all, just what sounded good to my ear. And to make those songs, I bought a small loop station where I recorded my tracks with the synth and then the drums together, so very rudimentally. And I recorded them with my phone and put them on my Instagram page. And I got very good reactions to it. People said, oh, you have a good ear, it sounds interesting. So I got encouraged and bought a third little Volca bass, and then I was going. And so it grew, and my loops, I called it loops, but not just because I recorded it in my loop station, became bigger and bigger with more synths added to it. And then at one point I thought, well, people seem to like it. Let's just go for it and make it into real songs. I still have those loops, which I now sometimes use as demos, where I think, oh, that actually was a good idea. Let me take this idea and let's grow on it. But when I make my tracks for Alterkix, I'm just having fun. I'm not thinking about music theory at all, except for the fact that when I start out and I play my first notes, I know that I'm in C major or F minor. So I know that all the things that I will build up on it have to be in the same scale, but that's about it.
That's all the music theory you use. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the next question is actually tied to this one, in the sense that my first impression when I listen to your music is that you start playing with your toys, let's call them, until you find something you like. Then you repeat the process and you put all the various things together. But then on the other side, I mean, you quite correctly describe your music as sometimes dark, sometimes gloomy, sometimes optimistic. And that made me think, oh, maybe it's actually the mood of the moment that triggers an idea in the mind, which is then generates, let's say, is the basis for the development of the song. So which of the two scenarios is more correct, like playing with toys or an idea that comes to in your mind and that turns into a song?
Well, also here, your remark is very correct. I just play around with my toys, let me call it like that. And then I hear a mood which triggers me. And it's mostly a more melancholic mood or a more dark mood, which I say, oh, wow, this sounds cool, let's go with that one. Because in my music, I think the most important part is the atmosphere. I like to create an atmosphere. So when you listen to it, then it gives you a vibe, a mood, and it tells a story without knowing which story it actually is. But you have a sense, oh, this is a bit dark, or no, this is uplifting. That is the most important thing to me, that my music doesn't sound flat, that it's not just boom, boom, boom. I don't mind such music, but it's not what I want to create.
Yeah, I see. And also, next question is also tied to this, in the sense that your songs definitely are not cheesy or particularly catchy or melodic. Let's say it's something that seems to be directed more to a specific niche, not to a huge audience. But still, I mean, checking your stats on Spotify or other places, you're quite a successful artist with a consolidated fan base. So which elements do you think are those that inspire so many people to follow your music? Could be that atmosphere that you try to create and that you just mentioned, or you think it's something else?
Well, definitely the atmosphere, because you're correct in saying that I'm in a niche, but I still don't know which niche. When you have to upload your song, I use DistroKid, you have to specify which genre you are. And when I click electronic, and then you have subgenres. And then I still don't know in which subgenre I am. So for me, it's very difficult to fit my music into a specific niche. But what brought me a big jump in the Spotify algorithm, because let's face it, Spotify, the most important thing are two things: the listeners which actually actively follow you, and I try to do that by making a promo on all my social media. I have a website which works actually. I know you had trouble accessing it, but I had it checked by various people in various countries and it seems to work. So alterkix.com still is a good place to go to. So I do promo on one side, and on the other side, which brought me a big jump, was doing a collaboration with another electronic artist. I'm in a community on Instagram, with similar electronic artists like myself. And the purpose is that we grow together by sharing information, but also by finding other people to do collaborations with, like doing remixes for each other or building tracks together from scratch. Because I think if I like that artist, then it's very possible that a person which likes my music also likes his or hers music. So that's the idea behind it.
Well, great advice
Yes,
also for other people, who are maybe struggling to find an audience. Thank you very much for sharing this.
yes, because an amazing thing happened. I saw that little by little I grew on the Spotify algorithm, but then I had my first album released with a remix done by an artist called Silver Sage. He did the remix to my song From Darkness to Light. I really love the track what he did to it. But when it was the first time when in DistroKid I had to upload a song which is a collaboration. And I made a mistake in the sense that my song, his remix didn't appear on his Spotify, so I didn't make the good link. And when I found out a few days later, I rectified it, I corrected it in DistroLink, and the moment it appeared on his Spotify too, both our Spotify's went up 100, 200, 300% radio plays. Incredible that we flew up in the algorithm, and I still have that effect, but it's slowed down. But that shows me that doing collaborations with other artists really is something Spotify likes. It's been my experience, and ever since I did also other collaborations, and I think this has been the way for me to grow. Because on your own, you're an unknown artist, and there are so many tracks on Spotify. How can you grow? It's a problem. Yes.
Exactly. Well, collaboration seems to work in general, that's the same thing with Instagram. When you release a post or a reel in collaboration with someone else, suddenly it is proposed, let's say, to many more people than if the two people were releasing it singularly, let's say. So it looks like in this respect, all the algorithms are the same. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about music platforms or socials. Nowadays, at least, collaboration seems to be the key to gain more visibility. So that's good, and thanks for confirming that. So AI, meaning like artificial intelligence applied to music, is a reality, something we cannot escape. So I'm wondering, do you see it more as a tool that will help us musicians to release more polished songs? Or are you more worried about the fact or the risk, let's say, that music one day may sound all the same, even more than it does now, because of the elimination of the human factor?
Definitely the second option, because what is artificial intelligence? Um, I have experience with it in my job. I work in an insurance company, so in a different field, but it's the same principle. You feed the computer system images or sounds, so it recognizes it, and then it produces the same thing, or it recognizes always the same thing. So it builds up. You have a base, and on that base are deducted certain things, but the base never changes. So it's always the same thing. And when it comes to music, I've heard certain songs which are made by artificial intelligence, and there are supposed to be songs by, I listened to an awful song by David Bowie, made by artificial intelligence. He's my favorite artist. I'm glad the man couldn't hear it because it's so bad. So, but I think it's very worrying that I think artificial intelligence will always improve and improve. When it comes to the point that you don't know anymore, is it made by someone pressing a key on an app, and voila, you have a song, or is it a real artist which it takes a lot of time to create a track, you know that also, you dedicate your time to it, and maybe in the end you won't know, you won't hear the difference anymore, I don't know. But what I'm very confident of is that artificial intelligence will never have the capability of generating emotions with the listener. By you can tell a computer make a song in C minor, okay, but you can't. Maybe it will be in the future, but now I don't think it's possible to tell a computer make a song in a dark melancholic mood, and maybe you can tell it, but it will be, I don't think the result will be as good as a human, because a computer doesn't have human feelings, of course, and doesn't understand the concept of feeling. But it worries me, because when you see the developments in artificial intelligence regarding deep fake and people coming to life, and famous people, and they're now on the screen, and it looks real. And
Yes. On a lot of
it's
things,
very
it does
worrying.
look real. I know that later you will show us in details of the stuff that you have in your studio, so I will not ask you about it now. And actually, partially, you have already answered my question, but maybe you can go a bit more in detail. Which was your first love in terms of gear? So the instrument that kind of made you think, I want to make electronic music and I want to spend a lot of time, playing with this thing.
Well, like I said, I bought a monologue, and that was actually a very good decision, because on it, to learn about synthesis, of course, it's a bit important to understand the different sound waves, square and cine and all that. And on the monologue, there's a little screen, an oscilloscope, where you can see when you press a note which sound wave it is. So, a bass sound, it looks like this, and it helped me a bit. This visual information helped me a bit to more understand what they meant when they write in the manual a square wave. I see in reality, yes, it's a square.
It's really a square.
Yes, it helped me. And then I think it's a good thing that you don't need to buy expensive synths to make good music, because there are brands which have cheap synths, but they sound very good, are user-friendly. Of course, you have to spend a little time getting to know them, how to use them. Brands like Korg, Behringer, of course, are known for making very good copies of more expensive synthesizers. And which also helped me was buying I bought 3 Korg Volkas, very small boxes, but they can do a lot of stuff, and it helped me to understand to make sequences, how to string notes together and make it sound interesting. So I went from there, and then when I bought a Moog, the Moog semi-modular synths, like the Mother 32, then a whole new world opened up to me, because I was already then year and a half of 2 years spending time with my other synths, but the Moog synths have such a depth and complexity in sound that I never heard before. And when I first heard it, I was just amazed. I couldn't believe, how is it possible that synths can have such depth in depth in sound. Yes, and that got me going in the Eurorack route. So ever since it went from semi-modular to modular, and now I'm all over the place. So I'm a person who always likes to learn and study. I very much enjoy the process of learning, and of course playing Eurorack is something very different than just pressing a preset on the synth, because on Eurorack you have to make all the connections yourself, wiring everything up. So to make it work or not work, it's a bit of trial and error, and but that gives me a lot of joy. But that's pure experimentation and surprising myself. When I play my Eurorack system, I never know what the result will be. When I don't have yet the knowledge enough to exactly understand what happens, but I just let it surprise myself when I move a cable from that hole to that hole. I will have this effect. I understand a little bit, but there are people who are more experienced and skilled at it, but it's just for fun.
If my understanding is correct, you're not using it yet for Alterkix, right? Just for fun,
No.
you said.
No, because I have the feeling that my Eurorack controls me instead of the other way around. Yes.
That's why. All right. And do you play live also?
No, only as bass player, because I don't have a controller which you need to put all the synth parts together and to play live. That would be, I think, too difficult for me and would give me too much stress. So I'm not doing that. Let me just do my stuff in my little corner here, and when I'm at ease and when I have time for it, but no live, no.
So it's not something you really miss or that you wish you could do?
No, that's not the purpose of my project, no.
I see. Okay. And I guess you make your own videos, right? I mean, the videos for the songs that are on YouTube. Which
Yes.
program are you using? Because they are very cute, but at the same time, they don't seem so difficult to make, maybe?
No.
You can confirm that?
My first 6 videos, I think, I shot images myself. So I went recording everywhere when I'm in a train, when I'm in a bus, when I'm walking in a forest. I made all those recordings myself, and then I just used a video editing program called Movavi to put all the recordings together to make a video out of it. But then I got out of inspiration where to film next, so I tried a subscription to the video platform called VideoBolt. And there you can select a template for your video, but of course and you can edit a little bit in like changing colors or changing the title, of course, and putting my artist name on it instead of VideoBolt, of course. But the editing possibilities are fairly limited, so I do as much as I can in VideoBolt, and then I take it over to the video editing program Movavi, or I have also different video editing programs on my phone, and I do a mix of both, trying to spice it up a little bit, but sadly I don't have the skills to make a video from scratch. I don't have that background.
But you said you like the learning process, so does that apply also to video making? I mean, could we expect maybe in future to see even more sophisticated videos because of your curiosity and your willingness always to learn something new? or it's better that you stick to music, let's say. And
Yes, I think if a day had 48 hours, then I think I would venture into the video making thing, but we only have 24 hours, so it's not going to happen, I think. I think it seems very complicated, and you have to spend a lot of time with it to be good at it, at video making, I think. So I do what I can in my limitations. So
yeah, but it's better to stick to music, let's say, for your improving process. Let's say that the
yes,
time that you dedicate to getting better. I understand that. I have the same problem, so I understand you very well. By the way. Now we have reached the last question, the one that called like studio demonstration. And in this case, it will be really a studio demonstration, meaning that I know that you're going to show us all your, what I always call toys. And well, let's watch it together now. Thank you very much for this. It was nice. I loved especially the captions, the fact that you were kind of commenting in writing what we could see that made everything very clear and interesting. Maybe some people put some of your stuff in their shopping list for Christmas.
Who knows?
Or for next year, why not? So I thank you very much for being with us today, and I wish you all the best for the future. And well, take care.
Same to you. Bye bye.